talking about shit they actually know nothing about.
Yeah, but that actually is a good one. I like that. I like that a lot. But it leans into the silliness, so then they know that not only are we trying to be
We're not
entertaining,
taking
but we're not
ourselves
too seriously. Because then some people will be like, especially on certain radical sides, they'll be like, "You said one thing about the one thing you can't say anything about." That's
Yeah,
like
no, I
actually a
want to
million
be
things.
silly and lighthearted and not take things so seriously. There's definitely enough
Right.
of that on the social media of people freaking
Yeah,
out about things.
But that doesn't mean we can't have real
Right.
conversations. It just means
Well, it's
none of this should be taken too seriously.
right,
Because
totally. Well, it's like when you go to a comedy show, and sometimes those comedies set up a joke by getting really kind of dark and like, so what do you think about this genocide or this thing or that, like touching on a subject, and then and then the whole crowd is silent, and then they bring it back, and they go, and they make light of it, like a light of a death or a school shooting or whatever the fuck, horrible shit. And they touch on some real things to begin with. They're like, actually, the stereotypes are harmful, blah 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 blah. But and then they make the joke, and then it's fucking hilarious, and people love it because they like took it to a place where the whole audience thought they were gonna lose them. Be like, oh, don't joke about that, and they bring it to a point where it's like, oh, that's funny. So not that we're
It's
like
a delicate art,
but letting them know that it's more of a entertainment thing rather than a philosophy. I mean, I like philosophy and psychology, but
the key to that in comedy is like essentially making the audience feel slightly uncomfortable or awkward, and then letting them know, like, no, I know this is uncomfortable.
Right.
Here's what's funny about that.
Exactly. Like, totally.
Here's why maybe we shouldn't feel awkward about that. And truth to power and all that bullshit. But like, I'm not into it for that. I'm into it for the laugh. Like that's 99% where my brain goes is how can I say something that's maybe a little bit stupid, but is there for a good laugh.
Yeah, and it's also, people for a lot of subjects is if people feeling uncomfortable about it makes nobody talk about it, and then nothing ever gets done on a subject nobody's talking about.
It's one of the best parts about comedy, and like why the jesters were a thing for so long is because they were able to bring up the things and talk about the things that you couldn't talk about. And then that allows people to think about them and like, maybe we can solve this problem. Comedy is that gateway into, okay, but let's have a real discussion about this.
Yeah.
And again, not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to have a real discussion unless we go like, hey, real one here. But
right.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to have like disagreements, whether it be between us or between us and the audience or whoever is watching, if there are people that will watch or whatever. Like it's good to actually have serious but then bring it back to be like, oh, but this is, like troll on them and be like, oh, you're going to troll on us? We'll troll on you back. Double hard, triple hard. Triple hard podcast.
Well, ultimately, there's always going to be somebody who hates you and somebody who loves you.
Which is okay.
It's always going to happen.
Joe Rogan or a lot of people just don't check the comments, but I'm down to check the comments and then also not take it seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's not no haters, you ain't popping.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's also going to be robots. There's going to be robots who know how to get under your skin, regardless.
That's I was going to bring that up. But like, how many, whether it be on the old Twitter or whatever, there's like how many they proved at least like what 10, 20, 30%, probably much more than that.
It's
are
growing.
Just online for Russian bots or whatever. Insert your country here. So
dude,
I'm sure there's.
Got it. He fixed it all. X is perfect.
Everything's the whole world is fixed.
That'd be nice. No, but the trigger bots, as I'll call them, the trigger bots are a huge thing on when you're looking at any social media and you go to look at the comments and one of the comments is like so dumb, you definitely want to respond to it. It's very likely that that's a trigger bot waiting for somebody to go into the comments to get triggered to engage with it.
Pronounced trigger.
They're rigger bots. They're rig things, so they're rigabots.
You're not allowed to roll the R out there on that one.
Rig a trigger.
We're coming up with slang words for clankers.
Clanker, you trigger.
That's clanka, all right?
Clanker.
That's
ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we'll have some robots watching this and be like, "Oh, they're being racist against."
That would be hilarious. ChatGPT enters the chat. They're just like,
I say we just roll with it, and if something better comes along, we'll roll with that too. It's not like we're trying to be rigid.
Yeah, I don't want to put us in a box, but friendly and American. That's not too bad of a box.
That's true. And then what was it? So you said intro, outro.
There you go. Tyrannical American podcast. We're coming for your
We're
laughs
serious.
and your oil.
We're definitely here
Speaking
for
of
oil.
Venezuela, dude, I haven't
Yeah,
checked the
that's some
news today,
wild stuff.
but
And then I'm watching, like
oh
I
my
said, with my
goodness.
social media, they got the far right and the far left on my feed. They don't know where
Oh my
they don't know
goodness.
where I'm going. So they're like, here's both of them, but they're both
Yeah,
opposite
well,
to each other. It's like
that's
Venezuela
good.
celebrating that they've been taken out of a dictatorship and
Hmm.
Venezuela protesting that
Yeah,
their leader was taken. I'm
that
seeing
America did
both
this.
of
Yeah.
those. And then I'm
Yep.
seeing on the American side people freaking out about it, and on the American side people being like, finally somebody did something about
Yeah.
some crazy tyrannical leader in
And I
Venezuela.
swear that Maduro has a stylist. He's been in like 6 different outfits in 2.5
I
days.
did see
Yeah.
that. I did see that. That was pretty
It's
interesting.
wild.
But it's also like AI is
Yeah.
becoming such a big thing that I'm like questioning
Yeah.
what I'm looking at. I'm like, what the
So
hell is this
yeah,
even
even in
real?
the last month or two, I mean, I was watching like this like the Sam Darnold after the Seahawks win do his like that funny they'll do the NFL dub overs, and it
Yeah.
doesn't look any different at this point. Like in the last couple months, I'm like, is this AI or those silly animal ones where like a duck's riding a crocodile and then like, is this
And you're
real?
like,
And no,
is
it's
that
like
real?
that's
Or
not.
is that duck really riding a
Yeah,
Tyrannosaurus Rex?
and we're at the point of no return now. It's like
Well,
singularity.
it's
Well,
funny
it's not
because
there yet.
I remember just last couple of years is that the filters that they put on things to make people look super clean or glossy and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
that could be real footage, but it's filtered and doctored so much that it looks like it could have just been produced via AI itself.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I think even AI at this point, or like especially the top line ones, could make it look just a little bit more real, a little bit more,
It's getting
blemish
closer.
here.
I can still
Yeah,
hear the voice. I can still hear that little weirdness in the voices. I can still see it
yeah,
in the lips, but maybe not all of them. Maybe I have seen people talk and
Yeah.
they've been on the point with their audio and their video quality. But
Mm.
it's definitely an interesting time to be alive. We
Well,
should
Yeah.
be
I
documenting this.
I think something like film, like a movie actually recorded on film is going to be huge in the next 10 years. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
somebody's going to go and actually use real film and
For
put it
people,
out. Be like, no, you have to go to this specific theater to see this
wow.
actually
right.
projected. Like
For people that
because
over the age of
everything comes
30.
back around, and
Yeah, totally. But except for people that are under 30 that have like, or under 25, whatever, that have been raised with like some form of AI for their entire lives. And they're going to be like, well, this is just, we were raised with Guardians of the Galaxy when I was 7. And then it's like, okay. And it's like, and then back to Venezuela. Like, I do think on both of those sides, on Doug's feed or what we were talking about, there are whether they be far left, far right, or whichever way they want to project it. I think that there's always, as you were saying, Doug, the mixed bag or that particular theory, there's always a little bit of everything, right? So there always will be some people that protest Maduro's taking, kidnapping, whatever you want to say,
Right.
president tapping. And then the other people who maybe, but to me, it's figuring out, and it's hard to do this through news networks because they're so radical nowadays, that which side is like overwhelming. Is there like a 70-30 split? Is there like a 80-20? Is it 90-10? Or is it like 50-50? Because if it's 50-50, that's kind of wishy-washy. But if it's like 80-20, 90-10, then to like, yes, we're happy that Maduro is gone, then that's a good thing because we're trying to serve the people of Venezuela and ourselves with the whole drug thing. And if that's the narrative, but it's just weird to
Yeah, it
me
depends
because
on what the
it's hard to
narrative
figure
is,
out
Really, it's
the
just
narrative,
it's crazy
what
that
the
you don't
truth
know.
is. Yeah. Well, it's so hard to figure out what the truth is because you only get these two polar opposites. And I haven't checked the hopefully more moderate slash or as moderately radical as August might say, like news networks, but it's hard to find those even. And
Yeah,
like even those can be compromised.
is there a libertarian news network that I'm not aware of?
I'm sure there are, but
I
it's
mean
just
YouTube,
independent.
but
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube. There you
yeah,
go. But that's
yeah,
censored too, so it would be like
yeah, oh,
multiples.
absolutely, absolutely.
And we've talked
yeah.
I
about it
mean,
before.
you can sometimes catch things like before they get
Super
edited or
edited.
taken down on
Yeah.
YouTube, but it's rare. Like you have to catch somebody when they only have 1,000 followers. Like you have to be on it, and then again, if you want that, just go to Rumble. Like that's what it's there
Yeah,
for.
Rumble's
Yeah.
the platform for not docking you for just having a
It's
conversation.
it's just so weird that like that's why the far left has become more like there. It's like it's not a cliche, but it's like it's a club that it's probably 30 or 40% of the people in the United States where they're far left enough to like get the Seattle mayor elected and the New York mayor elected, but anything that stands against them in the last like 5, 6, 7 years, they go, you're automatically alt-right. Just because we don't agree with your opinion or you don't agree with our opinion. That's the most totalitarian, ridiculous, authoritarian stuff there is.
Well,
And
polarization
polarization
gives control.
Growing up as a liberal, as my mom is super liberal to some degree, at least moderately liberal, like I feel like that's not what it was about. It was about more accepting, of compassionate, open-hearted, that kind of thing. And for some reason, the last 5, maybe 10 years max, they're just like, nope, if you don't agree with us, you're wrong. And it's like, that's not what it's about
Or
to me.
Or like one news station that says a bunch of people feel this way and a bunch of people feel this way. How do you feel about it? These are the things people are discussing.
Yeah, you have to feel this way or that way. You can't
right.
But
tell you
that's typically the only news that I hear is this is wrong and this is everything that's bad about it and these people are responsible. There is no people seeing it on both sides and sort of giving it on both sides, which that would be fun to see. And they'd be ridiculed.
Shout out again to Breaking Points. And again, they're probably not 100% on everything, but I do feel like the Breaking Points, and knowing that they are actual like legitimate journalists, they've gone through not only the school but also the White House and all these processes, and they already are decently famous. They've been on Rogan, they've done these Breaking Points, Crystal and Sagar, and even Kyle Kalinske. I mean, that's there's more journalists out there like them, whether they be left leaning or right leaning. But it's good when you can get those, at least 2 of those, to come together as friends, as coworkers, and have like conversations and be like, well, this is actually what I feel. This is what I feel. And so not just Breaking Points, but any news networks that are like that, or not even news networks, sorry, the more independent
journalism.
podcasts,
Yeah, journalism in general. It's dangerous, but I think that people are starting to open up just from the type of media that I'm seeing come out of being canceled. People are less afraid of being canceled, which is where I want to be in a society. I don't want people to be so afraid of talking about something that they don't bring it up. So
ostracized just for even bringing it up, just for bringing up the question. Because
right, like I don't know how I feel about it, but let's talk about this subject because it's of great concern. They feel weird even bringing up the subject because they fear that ridicule.
And something the left used to say in the last few years, maybe not just the left, but a lot of people, is you're not entitled to your own facts, right? Remember the whole alternative fact thing from I think it was Trump's first term. They're like, oh, these are alternative facts. I think it was the speaker lady that was talking about it, the press secretary. And it's like, well, we have alternative facts. And it's like, are those facts alternative or are they the actual facts? Because facts are facts, right? So you can say facts and you can say contrary facts that put it in a different light, or what some people say alternative facts, but that's what a good argument or a good debate is about. It's like, here's these facts, let's go at it. But you can't say, no, actually 20% is not the right number, because that's like, what is truth is really the question that we're getting at here in a super, super roundabout way. And it's like, we got to be able to find the statistics and the actual facts about said things.
And, I think one of the things that gets people censored or gets their posts taken down is them saying something thinking it's a fact. And even that, I think, should be okay. Because, I get that there's a problem. What was that?
Say that again, August?
The news network should not be allowed to do that, though. Like, an individual, yes, for sure. But when you're posting as, we are giving you facts, and you're factually wrong,
that's fair.
That should be an issue. And it hasn't been an issue for the last 10 years.
Okay, so if there's a good point there. I'd say if your viewership is above a certain line, then there should be some extra scrutiny on what you're putting out there as facts. But on the World Wide Web, on YouTube, I don't think people should be getting canceled for putting out what they believe, because people should watch what they're watching and say whether or not they want to research it or not. I know that it's dangerous, though. I mean, it's been labeled as misinformation and been attacked and scrutinized under that guise. But realistically, people should have feelings and discuss them, and then people should debate them over it.
Well, that's the thing, is we've gone back and forth here in the last 8 years, especially, of like how much should be scrutinized, how much should be taken down, and how much. But I think a lot of that should be left to the court of public opinion in terms of what you want to believe, and if you do want to do your own research, because there's a lot of people who don't do their own research. So if I see a fact online, and especially,
lost you. I lost your audio. It's just you.
Okay, there we go.
There it is.
So they were. Sorry, it was a phone call. in the left, or in the let's say the Biden administration, whatever, during the COVID times, let's say, they were saying things that were, hey, we need to censor this and this and this. Whether it be COVID stuff or this or that. And it's like, to some degree, I agree you should need to censor like crazy hate speech. I don't think people should be being arrested for most of those things, unless it's like I'm gonna incite a riot type of thing, because that is obviously illegal.
That's
But
inciting a threat in comparison to
right, the
hate speech.
threats
Hate speech is just saying that you
different.
hate something really passionately. But
Mhm.
when you change that to I'm going to do something about it physically, that's the actual threat part. Otherwise, the hate speech,
Right.
that's just people hating each other. That's still just opinion-based stuff. And really, I don't have a problem with most of that
Loud.
either. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
mean, I say
Yeah.
most of that, but I'm becoming a part of the problem as well. Because realistically, I do want people to be able to say things that they are criticizing about
Yeah.
anything. I don't want
Exactly.
them. I don't want them to be put a muzzle on because of freedom of speech laws. They should be able to say it. It's only the threatening part that I have a problem with. Only the
Totally.
enacting violence part.
I totally agree. But this back to the question we were talking about earlier. What facts, like if like say whether what side, polarized side or whatever, they're synthesizing the facts to make it sound like their side or whatever their opinion is, their view of it, perception is more right than the other. They release it and say, here's all the reasons why you should believe in this or why you shouldn't believe in this. The other side is, just because they have facts that also are correct, but they don't list those facts, they omit certain things to me. That's real propaganda, because they want their side to go their certain way too. So I think all of those facts should be able to be put online and should be able to put on YouTube or whatever. It's just whether you do your own research or not. And so many people nowadays just look at their phone and look at the headline on whatever
Right,
news
you're
network, whatever, and go,
scrolling and you
oh,
see
did you
5
hear
people
the,
say the
you know,
same thing, and you're like, oh, that must be the thing that happened. That's 5 different sources that I have saying that.
And headlines are
exactly.
so horribly misleading these days.
Exactly.
Like, you'll read a headline and be like, "Oh no, like this house burnt down." Then you read the
Mhm.
article and they're like, "No, there was a fire, but the house is totally fine." Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
they just blatantly make the headline seem
Exactly.
super sensational
The
and
clickbait.
crazy, and it actually doesn't apply at all to the article.
Totally. I gotta take a quick break. It was my work calling me, so I need to know what shift I'm gonna do tomorrow. But I'll be back in just a second. So,
Okay,
You're good.
let's just
thank you.
pause it here. I'm going to stop
Okay.
it and then start it back
Fun
up.
thing.
All right, we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Like and
Ladies and
subscribe.
gentlemen, welcome to the whitest kids you don't know.
The whitest family Americans.
No, not family. Friendly American
Oh.
podcast.
There you go. There you go.
Talking
We are
about
not
shit
family
we know.
friendly. I mean,
Talking
maybe
about
it's, NC-17 or whatever.
Yeah. Ridiculous. FFMP.
friendly sometimes.
Yeah, that was just my
I
one of my.
oh yeah,
Oh.
go ahead.
No, it was just a work thing. He was just calling to see. I thought it was gonna be a shift, but he was just making sure my days off were correct and whatnot. So it's all good.
All right.
I liked the vibe we were on. What were you just gonna say?
Oh, I had a couple topics. Not that we have to get into them, but I did like it popped up in my head because of the group text. The price of Legos has gone absolutely berserk. They are so expensive.
It's
now.
art. It is now going into the art classification.
It's crazy how much
something tangible, something you can put your hands on and actually interact with, rather than just
technology. Yeah, video
exactly.
games.
But they're plastic blocks. You shouldn't be paying hundreds of dollars for a thing that's this big.
Is it hundreds of dollars now?
Yeah.
It's wild how much they are.
I wonder what the percent is. Do you guys have your computers? What percent change, or ChatGPT, or maybe Grok would know this if you guys have the AIs. What percent change in, or 20 years, 10 years, whatever, especially the last 10 since COVID, because of huge inflation since then, but especially since 2008, which is, you're right, about 20 years now, 18 years. So since 2008 or since 2007, let's say, how much is the percent change?
It says 5% annually for the last 10 years.
So that's not really 50%, because is that. Well,
it's not. It's not that it is. It also is because not only is it 5% annually, but we're also losing our value as well.
Dude, what is the cost increase percent total?
Oh no, that just says in recent years. Okay, and you want to say the last 20 years.
Yeah. Percent total change increase, or something along those lines.
Price for piece is how they're labeling it, from
Oh my
around
goodness.
7 cents in the mid 2000s to 14 cents, so doubled.
So double, yeah, it's a 100% increase. Let's just, at least. But that's also what like they
But
don't
they
also.
also can get off with like, oh yeah, this is a piece, and it's the light cover for one single Lego individual. That's a piece. It's a piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
And
think
instead
about
of
sure.
that.
giving you like the platform, they just give you 4 small platforms that you link together with other pieces, so they make them be more pieces. Oh, Lego,
Yeah.
Daneland, what are you
And what you
doing
were
to us?
saying, our currency has been devalued over time. Not so much the number amount,
Yeah, let's
but
let's consider
how much
that.
you can
So
buy with it.
so whenever you
Yeah.
look up like how much something has gone up in price, you're not seeing that the value of your dollar has gone down
Is
in that
yeah,
amount of time.
Right.
So
Right.
really there's
our
no way to
purchasing
see it
power.
without doing all the math.
Okay,
Right.
yeah,
But people, that's again,
I
I
like
would
it.
say that this is part of the propaganda thing, is squeezing every last ounce out of the rag that is America, or the wet rag, whatever you want to say,
Hey,
wet
those are
towel. But
hard
because it's like,
working
if
wet rags you're talking about.
that's, I
And they
100%
got
agree, but
lots
that's
of
the problem.
juice, man.
It's the only way they're going to squeeze every last ounce of little drop of water out of that towel of the Americans, that their water is their work and their livelihoods, their juice, their nectar of life, is to make sure that people don't know that it's being squeezed. So it's really slow
It's a
squeeze,
boiling
right?
the
So they're
frog. Yeah, I'm
it's
feeling
as
it.
long as that
I think they're
inflation,
going too fast. They're going too
as long
fast.
as the
I'm
No, you
feeling
inflation,
missed it. Pressure creates diamonds.
right?
it.
So well,
Well, I am
right,
already a
dude.
diamond. We're all
Dude,
perfect because we've been
something that just had a
pressures.
really. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ugh.
suck a golf ball through a garden hose. I
Yeah,
got you.
There
it's
you
a
go. There you go.
combination. It's like you can feel that the working American has it really hard, and you can view it those two different ways. You can be like, yeah, it's stressful
Right.
and it sucks, and we should do something about it. And also, hard times make hard people.
But that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that the top-down authoritarian, whatever the government propaganda may be, it is. I don't think it's 100% their fault, but I think it's the majority of their fault. I mean, you see all the taxes going towards things that most people don't want their taxes going towards,
Yeah,
and
like
then you
childcare.
also, well, I mean, that's one thing.
I'm okay with childcare
But
that's at least looked into a little bit. Like at least
Actual
right,
childcare.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Actual
That's what
childcare.
it makes me scared, dude. I mean, especially in, I don't want to talk about it too much right now, but the situation that I'm in, that kind of thing, not knowing at all about where someone might be. It's
Yep.
like, are you in sex slave trade like in China somewhere, or are you like in one of these fake daycares, or are you at home with like that they
yeah,
might
you know,
actually be
it's
healthy
just
individuals?
and I feel like I hope there's a lot of people who feel this way, but I feel so morally in line with where I make my money that I
Mhm.
don't even want to invest in a stock of a company I don't like, even if it's gonna
Yeah.
make me some decent money. Like if I
Except for
know that
ASML.
that's gonna go up, and ASML is a fine company. I mean, they own all the manufacturing of the computer chips, unless China just made a machine, which I believe happened, but I'm still doing research
Yep,
on that. Like and
I
comment and
think you're
subscribe
right
if you
too.
know
Oh yes,
anything
yes.
about
The
that.
machine, dude. That machine is crazy.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
ASML is responsible
Netherlands,
for taking
Netherlands.
us forward with technology, and so really it's what you do with that tool. That is just a tool for making the chips. And then how you harvest those materials. That's dark side stuff where who knows where the mines of where all these rare earth minerals are coming from. Those would be the
They're
companies
there.
that I'd be
Yeah.
not wanting to put money into. But the
That's
machine
the
that
thing.
makes the chips is sort of that's
Yeah.
what's creating
I
all the
think
technology.
I think they kind of all go hand in hand, though. It's like, even like those, you have plausible deniability, or denial of responsibility, whatever the phrase there that's called. Like, you have a few different separations, right? You, to get to that chip maker, you have to have all the raw input, and there's so much raw input. Some of them are better than others, more ethical, humanitarian wise than others, but some aren't, as you were saying. But just because this company buys from this mine, and then they sell to this company, then they
Right, I guess
refine it a little bit, sells to this company, and then it goes to ASML, doesn't mean that they're at no, like, just because we all buy cell phones doesn't mean we're not responsible, but we also not, like, I don't feel heavy burden blame. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, just not buy the iPhone or not buy the Samsung or whatever it is? Like, you could do
Yeah.
that, and you can make like an ethically sourced way of doing that, but it's just not economical. You know, you would have to do it for the moral reasons and not for the money reasons, and then that's where you have a lot of businesses, and those businesses get, I hate to say it, but like snuffed out or just choked out
because of the
because they're not
companies that are
making as
able
much
to do,
money.
mass amounts of cheaper goods that are able to get to the public faster and allow
I
them
would be
the ability.
interested if we would do something like that. Maybe not with phones, but with something like ethically sourced Legos, or you know what I mean? Like making
Yeah,
sure that
phones
everything that
phones
we
would be a
have,
hard
they're
one. Phones, the only way you can do it with phones is to recycle other phones.
Yeah.
That would be the only way to
Right. And
keep it going.
rebuild. Yeah.
And
But
even
you
then
doing
you're
that
just
in a production way is crazy.
right, and you're
yeah,
still
yeah.
using the original unethically sourced material, which is, I guess, to
Well,
make a point farther, is if you were, say, buying a stock in a chocolate company that ethically sourced their chocolate, and then you find out later that they were unethically using slaves or whatever in order to get their chocolate. It's like sometimes you just don't know, and so you're not really feeling the responsibility of some of the decisions you make because you're not aware of it.
Right.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. And I think that's most people. Is most people don't look at their phone and go, "Oh, I'm contributing to these cobalt mines in the Congo." I think they go, "Oh, I really like this phone." Or even like when you go buy chicken or meat, you're not the one slaughtering the animal. And then when you realize, you see those crazy documentaries from the last, was it Food Inc. or all those ones, shout out, for like
Yeah.
the last 10 or 20 years, then you go, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna become vegan," and then you do it for like a day or two, and then you're like, "Oh, I really want meat," and you go back to meat. But
Yeah,
cycles
and
there. But it's like most, to your point, that is what it's like. People don't know about the how it's sourced, whatever it may be, and so then it's like plausible deniability or whatever it's called in their brain. They don't, it's ignorance of some sort, so they don't have to connect themselves and their responsibility or their small part of it
yeah, and a lot of
into
a
the
lot of
greater
time it's
system.
disassociation if they do know it. Sometimes they're just turning a blind eye
Right.
to it because it's making them profit. I'd say
Right.
with the in regards to the stocks thing is I don't really have so much money that I'm making a huge difference and putting a shit ton of money in. So I don't really feel like I'm making any bad decisions there. Let's say I did make it to billions of dollars, then I would have much more scrutiny to what sort of companies I'd be putting money into. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
scraping the bottom of the barrel, paycheck to paycheck, and making a living. But I'm not really feeling an ethical burden of I've put billions of dollars into a company that's exploiting people or fucking up the environment horribly. All my stuff is small fry stuff at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I think, yeah, no, I agree. But at the same, like, yeah, I think for all of us, we're not big investors, or at least at the moment. But if we did, I think we'd all want to be ethical investors. But
That's the
also,
goal.
that's what I'm
That's the
saying, for
goal.
the future of this. If we do get to a point of, having some more funds, we actually get some liquidity from YouTube, or whatever places, or even sponsorships or whatnot.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
August's
that would
idea
be
of making a charity and figuring out where the actual money goes. I liked the idea of auditing charities. Not
Yeah.
yeah,
not not
yeah,
auditing them just financially, auditing them physically, going and
Yeah.
visiting where the money's going and what it's going to. But I was thinking that as a charity. So you're actually getting
Yeah. Well,
money donated to you to investigate someone else you're donating to
yeah.
because you want to feel trusting of those people, but you want to also trust but verify. And you'd like to be able to have somebody
Well,
on the
and
ground.
that's a great idea too, because you could also then film all that. And I mean, I hate it, but like use that as content because that's something people would
It
genuinely
is.
love to
It
watch.
is.
Like,
Especially if
I would
yeah.
rather do it and audit the government, but we can't really do that because,
Yet,
we live in a
can't
free
do that
country.
yet.
It's hard enough. That guy that's been exposing. I mean, obviously he's a
Yeah.
right leaning guy. I think I can't remember what his name is,
No,
but
he's just a guy, and honestly, I'm fine with the stuff he does. I mean, he definitely is a provocateur at times. Like
right,
he
right.
does
Yeah.
things, but he could have made a much larger effort to do what he did a little cleaner, a little more effectively. That would have been less hokey, I guess.
Right.
But I still think what he did was important. I
I don't
mean,
know. I don't know who you're talking about.
So the guy
oh,
that was going to the Minnesota things, Nick Shirley?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
surely,
can't
yeah, yeah.
remember, something like that. I can't remember. Like
Well, I
I've
mean,
seen
if
him
if
like
at
on clips and
least
stuff.
if
But
he is sounding the alarm, like if he's the whistleblower on something that's actually going on, I think it's great if you inspire people to dig in. Like,
Well, the
I,
thing is, he's not even the whistleblower. Like, this was brought up years ago, and nothing happened. Like, nothing happened, and it just got worse and worse and worse. Then he went and made these videos, and they exploded online. Now
yeah.
people are talking about it. Now they've
Uh,
got video of people like showing up with tons of kids, but then they all leave again like 20 minutes later, and it's like, wait,
Yeah,
so you did
I've
it for
seen some fraud
appearance's
just I think it was
sake.
last year with a restaurant that was getting money for how much food that they give away to people,
Yeah.
and they were saying their numbers were absolutely out of this world, and so they
yeah,
set up cameras watching the building and nobody entered or left for months.
yeah.
Like
That's the
maybe
thing is
one
there's a
car
lot of
pulled
fraud
up.
out there. There's a lot of fraud out there, and it's just like how people will go to extreme lengths to make that fraud continue because that's a lot of those people's livelihoods, a lot of those
Yeah,
people's
it's
resources.
making money,
Unfortunately,
profit again,
that's why that's
over
why
care.
It's a free ride for
right.
not a lot of work. I mean, honestly, again, I'm a firm believer that it's always easier to A, tell the truth, and B, just do the job and get paid than it is to do all the work to hide how little you're doing.
Yeah.
But
People, yeah.
And then
people love not doing things and getting paid for it.
the goal is
Money's
to
up.
be ethically sourced on however you're making your money.
Your
Um, I
labor, your
I
contents,
have
the
a hard
actual
time with my
resources.
job. I know I help a lot of people out, but I work with technology, so I'm working with all these devices that I know are coming from,
Huawei.
unethical. Yeah, well, any device that somebody walks in the door with is, I'm working on everything under the sun, anything technology based. I'm helping the
And I'm
people, but
right. And it's not necessarily going to happen to you, in the situation you're in, but like you don't know if somebody has spyware on that device that they bring in, and then that gets into your system, and you're like,
no,
okay, now
I
I've
do
got to
have I do have
kind
fail
of like
safes. I do have a cutoff network
I'm
that I
sure you
attach to.
do,
Yeah.
but it's just
I have to
it's
be aware of
But
that
this,
stuff.
absolutely,
yeah, this
absolutely.
is
But
why it's
I was
important
thinking
to
more
audit
along the
them.
lines of I'm working on a machine and it's somebody's porn box and I'm helping them have that.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
all.
That's part of the game.
It's like I wish I was helping you out, or like the troll, the internet troll, and that's all he does is go around and just rage bait people all day, and then he brings in his computer. I fix it so he
And
can
you're
go
just
out there.
reading.
Yeah, no, no, I fix his computer so he can go out there and rage bait a bunch of people like I'm helping the
Well,
problem.
yeah, but in the fixing of it, you're gonna see part of what he was doing.
No, I don't see anything because I'm always in the background
Oh,
looking at
you just
programs.
go, you
Yeah,
just go through
I'm
settings.
just looking at code for most of it, and then scans that I run for antivirus is it's bringing up files that are just lines of code and shit like that. The only time that I'm looking at people's data is if they want me to move their data from something that's dying, and I need to make sure that at least a couple files open, and then it's
I
just
see.
random open a file, make sure it's able to be open because I have had data recoveries where I give them it back and say that we got this many gigs of data, every file is broken. So I take
Oh,
them for
yeah,
the
super
ride. I
corrupted.
get to tell them that they got everything, and then when they go to actually open it, they got nothing. That sucked so bad, I won't relive that. So I at least click on a couple things, make sure they
Yeah.
open, so I can say
And you
it
click
looks like,
on lovely summer's evening, and then you see two naked old people on top of it
or
all.
somebody's dick pic, and I'm like, damn it, one out of like 10,000.
Speaking of dick pics, I
Ridiculous.
actually come up with a pretty good ethical business. Uh,
Oh my god.
Speaking,
What
how
the
does
hell?
that
well,
lead you
so
to an ethical business idea?
trust me, it gets me there. Trust me.
Wow.
Uh,
But what we oh yeah, we are talking about ethically sourced resources and labor. Well, that's why we need what's it called? Audits of
It's hard to
everything, whether it be
it's
third
hard
party
well,
audits.
yeah, it's hard to find anyway. Like that's why it's so hard for me to go to the grocery store is I really would like to have local stuff. The food co-op, I can do a pretty good job at honing it down. But finding food that doesn't it's not full of chemicals and shit like that, it's really the same sort of problem as finding my news, as finding my
yeah,
clothes made out of 100% cotton, linen, that'd be fucking nice, but it's mainly
for sure.
plastic and everything. So
Yeah.
it's the ethically sourced for all of it. And I think we've
And
talked about it before. You vote with your dollar. So it is crucial that humans start to realize that we are playing a role, even the little guys, like even just in your everyday decisions.
right. And I think that you can do like there's a dial that you can have in your own life of how far you want to go with I want the most ethically sustainable, resource-based, plant-based, whatever,
Right.
whether it
You
be
stress
food
yourself
or
out to death, full
animals and all
anxiety.
that stuff. You could go
Well,
totally all that way, but at the same time, it's like you also can like turn it down. But a lot of people who don't have even medium amount middle class money or lower middle class money don't have the luxury of
No.
having as crazy of a dial to turn that, whether it be high or low or whatever. They have
Your
to go to
dial's
Walmart.
just
They
always
have to
on
go to
low. You
Costco.
can just afford to survive, and those are the things that you buy. And I've been there.
Exactly, because it's the cheapest thing they can make, which is not always the best thing
Yeah.
for you.
Well,
But
and I mean, just on that whole ethical, like especially at the grocery store and like trying to get the stuff that like buying from companies are at least trying to do it right,
At least
and
trying.
they aren't all the same company that owns the same 4 companies that own freaking thing.
Sometimes
Which
that's
is
all I
most of
look
the stuff.
for. That's sometimes all I look for. It's like, oh, hey, this isn't made by any of those brands. Let's give that a shot.
It's funny that we had this come up because I was watching. You guys know who Ian Carroll is?
yeah.
Great, podcaster, journalist, whatever you want to call him. But he's actually literally making an app called Buyer, like BUY''R, and that's what the app will do. Is essentially you can go to the grocery store and it will list everything there and like who owns the company that makes that product, and you can just like look at like, okay, I want to buy these pasta noodles, and it's like, nope, that's owned by one of these 4, and it's not going to tell you like don't buy it, but it'll just like make you aware, like, okay, if you want sustainably sourced stuff that's mom and pop or whatever, no, these products are from small businesses, like from local, like, and I was like, it's a great idea for an app, and I'm super excited for him.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I
that
will
is a
check
great
that
idea.
out.
It's the same thing though.
Frankly, it's overwhelming.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Fucking overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's what kind of the same point I was just going to say is it's we were talking about this earlier. It's about how much, whether it be in the news networks or whether it be into news stuff or into where your ethically sourced things are, you still need to do that research, even with that app, which is an amazing idea, and I think that will be successful as well. But you still need to find out and do your own research, and so many people just are so sensationalized. They'll look at the headline, they'll take it as a fact, especially if somebody else told them that, and then they won't. Or they just want to be blissfully ignorant. They want to be willfully ignorant, I
It's
guess
time,
is what I'd say.
I mean, between taxes beating you up, having a shitty job, health insurance, all the things we go over all the time, trusting the government. It's all these things that make it so you don't really have as much time to look into things as you'd want to. So really, it does take stepping back and really getting out of the anxiety of all those different decisions you have.
Totally. And then like there's things that people like marketers know this. People like choice, right? But I think what we have now, especially with all those 4 main companies that own everything, or however many there are in any sector, it's the fact that you have the illusion of choice. And so even if you go and you buy the other brand that you think might not be that brand, it's still owned by a brand that's owned by that brand.
No, those 4 companies do. Those 4 companies actually own each other.
And it might even be
all sharing.
It's the same product in a different package, even in some of the situations. So that becomes even more of a farce.
Do I buy Kellogg's or Post?
Would you like to vote Democrat or Republican?
Right.
They're the same damn thing.
Yeah, it's the uniparty. And unfortunately, that's become all too real, especially with like, well, there's just so many things, but like the drone bombings, the different wars, like, I mean, back to Venezuela, how we started it, like, is it really for the drug stuff? Maybe. Maybe. Is it more for oil? Maybe. Is it more for some natural resources? I mean, Venezuela does have a lot of natural resources, including oil. But at the same time, it's like, who's running Venezuela now? And are we going to make a deal with this guy? Or are they just going to put him in prison forever, Maduro? There's clearly more than just one reason why they would go get him. And because there's all sorts of drug cartels in Mexico and all this stuff. We could go do that too. But for some reason, it's like,
it became really intense to do something about Venezuela. And I didn't, I don't get enough information.
I'm confident he'll get assassinated.
Oh, yeah. Or be in prison for forever. Or he'll be in a nice prison. Kind of like, what's her name? Maxwell? That she's like in the one where she gets to yoga and like does the thing. Hey, Ghislaine, back in the day. No.
I like how Tim Dillon,
Ghislaine. Dude, that whole world. The thing is that, like, especially a little bit, like, I think we talked about this before, or in different podcasts and previous episodes, that there are people out there that don't have to be 100 billionaires, that don't have to be interwoven with Mossad or with other super crazy,
or some mafia, some background mafia.
Like, Yeah, exactly. Or even just the most rich, powerful people in the world. That doesn't have to be that. You could have 10 million, you could have 100 million, you could have a lot of influence and power or money, and still get to that level and still get those same messed up parties slash owning people slash sex or buying the most extravagant things, which does hurt other people into it. You don't have to run with their level people, the Maxwells and the the
Yeah, well,
presidents
I
slash
think
whatever of the world.
we're talking about the ethical stuff. It's like, well, once these people get up to a certain height in global power and money, I feel like the corruption and the buyout becomes more likely. And then there's also, I'm sure, situations of like you have to do this or people you care about are in harm's way. And so there does become a very
Yeah.
toxic side of the top of if you know too much or you've seen too much, you're at risk of you better, do what somebody says. So there is
Right.
some concern about a lot of that unethical behavior being just you went into the swamp and you can't get
Right.
out. You went
Mm-hmm.
into the swamp too deep, and what you needed to do was, I mean, unfortunately, have a better
Tread lightly.
gut reaction of like once
Yeah.
you feel that nastiness, which I feel like you'd be able to tell once you get high enough up in power and you're dealing with background shady deals. I feel like you'd be able to see it coming and be like, "Up, I'm
Yeah, but
out. I don't
again,
want to be
the
around these
way
people."
they do the control though is by you don't even get close to those positions until you've already been compromised. Like you have to have already been willing to do and hide the things at a way lower level before you'll ever even be considered to take that next
That's
step and to
true.
get that
That's
next
true.
position. But that's actually why what we need is an uncompromisingly ethical sociopath who can not care
I
about
don't know.
anyone in their life but do everything they can to help other people.
Yeah, but that
Like
is like all you got to do is like, okay. Can we read the definition of sociopath on air? Because
no, we
Yeah,
that
don't
I
we don't
like
sociopath.
need
the
to read it.
idea. Like, well, I mean, for the other people, I like the idea.
They
Is
know what it is.
very fundamentally sound, but
Yeah, but you
those
can't.
two terms
But
are
yeah,
contradictions.
I was gonna
Yes,
say they
but
don't
you
work out the
need a
same way.
contradiction to make it work. Like
Yeah.
people are contradictions all the time, and you need somebody like that to make this system change. You need somebody who will essentially take all the hits, become terrible, get to a high enough point where they can actually expose it all, and then
Mm.
take that hit and be, essentially just shit on like, oh, but look, you did this. Oh, you were gay in this bathroom. Oh, you did, like, and just like,
Mm.
yes, I did all that, but look, all these other people did it with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Chaotic good. You need somebody to go in there and make
Yeah,
radical good change for the
yeah.
betterment of society and socially responsible and accountable, rather than what we got now for
Yes,
for the
and
I
most
mean,
part.
sacrifice themselves essentially.
I would hope that people would just be able to rise to power with the people backing them without having them to do all those fucking things.
It would be great, but it hasn't happened yet.
Well, it doesn't
Right.
happen fast, is what it is. As someone who is working for the betterment of people is not taking the backroom shady deal, which means there is no quick booster to the top. There's
Right,
literally,
right.
you just have to be a good person consistently forever and run into
Boots
someone.
on the ground. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so at a
Yeah.
grassroots
I
level,
think
it wouldn't
I do
happen
think
like it does for any of the people making terrible decisions. They
it
get
is
famous
it
really
even
fast.
it's more intricate and complicated than that though. Even I mean, think like remember the Batman thing or the Dark Knight or whatever. It's like you either die the hero, live long enough to become a villain or thing. It's like even if you are doing for the betterment of humanity, and this is the age old question, is like let's say I can think I can do more by the more rich I become, by the more influential I become, whether it be in local politics or in mass politics, and how much money I get, I can give more to charity. But at that same point, like if you go into that political world or that money world or the financial world, like you think that you can do more for those people with more money, with more influence. But as we were saying just then, as I was saying, we were all saying that like the minute that you get them, they'll say, okay, well, we'll give you this if you do this. We'll give you this if you do this. And so you incremental, you get a little bit more, get a little bit more. But by the time you reach even halfway up or near the top, you're already so compromised by you owing all these other people, even just favors here and there. You don't. There's no such. in that world, I don't think there's such thing as all pure good or pure evil. I mean, there's a lot of people who do a lot of shady things, and there's a lot of people who do shady things for the betterment of humanity too. But it's still shady. You know what I mean? It's some
Right.
people
And
think
then
their manipulation politically is good. Some people think their manipulation is bad. But it's all depends on how much we know, the transparency behind it, and at what their actual intention is. Because you'll never know their real
yeah,
intention
and
until it's too
I
late.
also
And it's
I
like,
feel strongly that a lot of people feel like they can go around and fix people and things if they had enough money, and that's super fucking dangerous. There's one of the stories that I look back on. I think it was Tom's Shoes or something like that, where they every time you bought a pair of shoes, they would give a pair of shoes to somebody
Oh
in
yeah,
poverty.
Bombas Stock does something like that.
Okay, so there was one of these companies, and I might got the name wrong, and I don't have all the
No, no, no.
details on it,
Palm
but
Shoes, I think you're right with that one too. But
essentially it was along the lines of people who were in those areas that were poverty stricken that were getting these free shoes. All of the people who made shoes went out of business.
yeah,
And I always think about that story because it reminds me that you cannot just go into a place and flood them with something that they need and walk away. That's never
right.
going to solve anything. So, I mean, in metaphorical value, it makes me think about if you were going to go help somebody or help a civilization or a group of people, you need to see what they're doing to help each other and help them do that. Because they
Right, right.
ultimately need to be the people that are doing it.
Yeah, improve the system, not the situation.
Yeah,
totally.
you
And
can't
then
just drop money and walk away. That's never going to fix anything.
and to expand on that and go to slightly different direction, but very similar is if let's say that we are trying to help certain people in certain, let's say a populace that is needy of food or resources of some way, or maybe they need the skills like the teach a man to fish type of thing. They need the skills to do the thing, and we have, let's say, the resources and money and even know-how to be able to help them. Now, I agree we can't go in there and flood that system. We can't flood their society with the things they need because that can also destroy it pretty handily, probably most of the time. However, we also need the opposite side of the coin. We need that populace or those people to want to believe in in wanting to do. Like, we can't just go into, let's say, Afghanistan or someone and be like, we're going to institute our way of thinking because it's better. It's democracy and freedom and greatness. And then all of a sudden, here we are 20 or 25 years later,
Don't you want
whatever.
to be
And it
free?
does it. Yeah, don't
Be
you want
free
to
or
be
die.
like, don't want to be like us? And it's like, that's not just for them, that's for any, that's in tribes in Congo, that's for South America in certain places. You can't just go there and say, here's our way, it's better, you should assimilate to it.
Right.
Because like we could do that in the United States maybe, or in our own cultural whatever, but we can't just go
Well, we
places
have
and
enough
let's say we have
in the
all the
US,
means
we
to
have
do
enough
it.
similar freedoms to where respecting other people's rights and those sort of things. We sort of have a very similar mesh throughout the US. It's a
For the
big
most part,
area,
yeah.
but we do have a respect for people and their inalienable rights. And so it's a
Right.
little different once you go to other countries. They're like, our rights are different. We don't have those rights or we don't respect that. And so there is a different thing once you get outside of the US. Then again, we've talked
And
about it many times. I don't feel like America should be going around telling people what to do around the world, team world of police or whatever the fuck. I think
right.
we need to
Yeah.
be figuring out how to help the
Yeah.
US become more stable and more in that position that I believe we were back on the gold standard.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
I think
that's the
I think
beginning of
most
the end
people
right
agree.
there.
Yeah, I agree. Most people, I think, would agree with that. And then to me, that's a libertarian stance. It's a let's protect our borders, the Department of Defense, but now it's the Department of War. It's like I don't really agree with that, and maybe there's something behind that that I haven't looked into. But it's like it doesn't
Yeah,
it doesn't
what
bode well to
percentage of this
like.
has to do with aliens, you know? Are we just trying to bulk up because aliens came down and we were like, no, now we're the war.
I think that would actually be like that would help like unite the world in one way, but I don't think it should be uniting the world in like a warfaring civilization kind of way. That's like I don't
Yeah,
want to be known,
it
hopefully, as in like all of humanity. I don't want humanity to be known as kind of what we have
the
been known
war,
as a
yeah.
warfaring warmongers throughout the galaxy. If
But
that's
that's
true,
what we've
it's like
literally been our
I
entire
know,
existence.
I know, which is
Like we have
unfortunate,
done
but
nothing but throw rocks at each other since we
yeah,
figured out how to throw rocks.
exactly. But it's like that's. I
Then
mean,
again,
that's what I fear.
if the bad news travels faster than the good news, so the amount of good that people do towards each other, we typically don't shine a light on it. It's like
Sure.
when everything goes perfect, when you go to the restaurant and you have a wonderful experience and you leave. Rarely are people running out there and writing reviews about it. But if somebody did something bad or the waiter fucked up, all of a sudden you're talking about it.
Yeah.
There's a fly in my soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed this was a bad thing. There's a hair or whatever, as opposed to like, oh, that was a really lovely evening, honey. And it's like, that was that.
That was
You know,
that,
it's
and
like,
nobody
you're
ever
right.
says anything else
But
about it. I mean, it's unfortunate. That is an unfortunate human reality, which doesn't shine lightly on us. Even that little bit right there, even aside from us being known for a bunch of very negative things as humans, there's still that is one more negative thing is that's typically all we focus on, which is
pointing
actually
out the problems.
that's
What's
one
up?
of the things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to have a good news segment on the podcast if we could. So if you
Yeah.
research or see things throughout the week, I have a couple of them that I found.
Oh
But
yeah,
I
what
think that
do you
would
got?
be nice. That would be nice if we can do that.
Yeah,
And then also rooting for people researching shit. If you hear anything, good news or bad news, and you don't think it's true and you go and research it and find some evidence, leave us some evidence. I don't mind being corrected. I don't mind debating.
totally.
I,
Hook us up
I
with the
like being corrected. Like, please correct
totally.
me
Hook
when
us up
I'm
with the
wrong.
links or the actual sources. You know, we'll check them out, or one of us will check them out. I'm sure I would. But it's just like that's the thing is let's look at into these things a little bit more. More research, more better is how I
Yeah.
see it. As long as we can get like the truth out of it, or at least a little bit better version of the truth, or like to, narrow it down a little bit. I was just saying, yeah, I think that's what we were just talking about is the influence not
It's
just of America, but
inside gems on Instagram, and it's by 2027 Italy will ban the elimination of male chicks, putting an end to the death of around 40 million animals each year. So the process of making
Yeah, but then there's going to
chickens.
be cocks running everywhere.
I know it's I don't know what the solution is. I'm just saying it's good news
female
not to
The
chicks
mass
or
solution is
murder.
male
make
chicks.
them into chicken nuggets, which is what we already do.
Ocean cleanup
There's
project has surpassed the mark of 40 million kilograms of waste removed from oceans and rivers.
positive, right?
Yeah, I'm for that.
And Nepal, the snow leopard population has stabilized around 400 individuals. And I'm a fan.
Nice.
And this is some positive. I like most of the positivity. That's
Yeah,
good.
no, and
And
it's hard to
that's
find. I had to it was like pulling teeth trying to scan the internet for people talking about things that were positive going on.
exactly. And it is good to point out negative things so that you take care of them. But at what point do
It's
we
true. It's true.
even it out a little
Doom
bit?
and
You got to
gloom.
still
There's too much of
right.
that out there as well.
You got to let people have their own personalities, have their own opinions, even if you think they're wrong, or even if they are actually wrong. You still have to let those people have opinions because I still want to have my opinions, even if they're wrong. And eventually, I'll figure out whether it's wrong or not. It's just the people that are sociopaths or like narcissists, whatever, that really don't believe. They're only gonna. Even if they're not narcissists or sociopaths, people that have closed minds that they're are not going to expand their view in any sense, not change their perception, that's the real danger there. But like if I have a wrong opinion and then I live another year or a couple months or 10 years and then I go, oh, that opinion that I had clearly wrong, I should change it, as hopefully most people would do that. That's a good thing. It's okay to have a wrong opinion. And so that's so I think whatever we say on here, whether it be joking or not, it's okay to have wrong opinions, and that's why we're asking for the research.
Yeah, and
right?
I have open
all that kind of
eyes,
stuff.
open heart. I'm not closed off. So
Well, yeah,
that's
and
really
I
where I
mean, I
want to
just
be.
did some quick research, and in other good news, there is a call for circumcision safeguards after a baby death in England. So
England.
stop cutting baby dicks. Yeah.
Good news.
Coroner is warned that further babies could die unless the government introduces regulation of non-therapeutic male circumcision.
I
Wild.
mean, I'm
Let's
for the
go.
therapy part.
Let's go.
If people, I mean, I don't particularly agree with it. I understand the religious aspect. I understand
I don't even
if that
understand the
is really
religious
put in here.
aspect.
Well, I mean, it doesn't it
Well,
say that in the Old Testament or something along those lines? But that's what
no,
people. It's a
yes, but
tradition.
so it was literally it was designed because when you live in the desert, how do you wash your dick? You just scrub it with sand? Like, no. So if you
Yeah.
rip the tip off, you get a
Like
lot
and
less
subscribe
pee.
and comment if that is true.
Ah.
For those
Just
who live out
saying.
in the
No.
desert,
I
let me
think
know. Let me know how
that could be
factual
one.
that is.
Yeah. It's just
We could
I
have
don't.
the circumcision corner. Actually, I could bring up circumcision news every week.
I think we all are in agreements on this one, to be honest. But I still think that there should be a place for those people with the tradition. I don't agree with it, but if you want to do the tradition thing,
So
but you're not giving your baby a chance. To me, that is almost like without cutting the whole dick off. Like if you're, I hate to say this, but what are they called? The mothers or fathers or parents, however you
Well, I mean,
identify, when you would give your babies owners of whatever,
we can just say it's
like
permanent.
change.
It's permanent
Right.
mutation of
If it's
the
a
bot.
permanent thing, you're not giving your baby tattoos, right? As far as I know, nobody's tattooing their baby. And yes, of course, you could reverse that.
People are
But the other
definitely
thing
doing
is
that.
the sexual stuff, you can't really reverse that, right? So it's like, how about we wait until they're 18 or wait until they're at least of age? Let's say 18 is a pretty good age to make those decisions about their own body. Because if they can go,
yeah, I heard back in the day it was a cleanliness thing. That's all I heard about it.
Sure.
It was as a cleanliness.
Again, place for tradition, but I'm sure there's even more messed up stuff out there other than circumcision.
Oh, there definitely is. Humans are so messed up. Sorry, I'm trying to stay on the positive side. I'm like, humans are so fucking messed up.
We're getting rid of circumcisions.
That's positive. Yeah, we're getting rid of the bad things. That is a positive thing. But like, I saw this on, I think it was Insta or one of these places that, and again, it may be this current administration, but I think they outlawed Sharia law in like Illinois or like Indiana or something. Can somebody look up that real quick? They outlawed it. I think this was like a few days
David,
ago,
I'm on the
a week ago, and I
podcast.
saw it. So because that would be a positive thing.
I don't know. I'll give you a call when we get
not particularly for Islamic people or whatever, but or for Sharia law people, but at the same time, it's like you can't be marrying off 7-year-olds or 9-year-olds or whatever the fuck they do, right? But that's not something that should be allowed in America. I don't give a about your culture, and like if you want to do it over there, I still don't think it's okay, but that's over there in your country, and that's still messed up that like there's something should be done about that as well, because it's not like a humanitarian thing. But however, it's like if you're in this country and that's happening, that is reprehensible. That is not. It's inconceivable to me that could even be a thing.
Right. We're trying to respect the rights of everybody, and we have already included children in the rights we are protecting.
Right.
So
exactly, I'm protecting the 7 and 9-year-olds from being married off or betrothed or whatever the hell that's called to people that oh my god, like that. So. And there's probably other parts of those laws. I don't even know a lot about Sharia law. I'm sure some people do. Like and subscribe, put in the comments of whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
Good. However, it's like the bad parts about those things are like
bad enough.
What do we got here in American, like for Seattle in the upcoming
taxes? We got taxes, and they're real bad. That is really what we got. It's fucking bad.
Well, I mean, they might think that where I was going with this is in Seattle they have the FIFA World Cup game against Egypt and Iran, and in both of those countries it's illegal to be gay. You might be killed, you might be reprimanded, whatever. And so that's what we have that they don't like. Okay, but if you're getting married off 7 or 10-year-olds or whatever, I think that's even worse. That I don't know. Both of those things are bad, right? But I think if you're gay, you shouldn't be killed, right? And I'm not saying that I disagree with. You should do whatever you want to do. It makes you happy. As long as you're not hurting me, I don't care. But what you do, if it was my daughter, or if it was my friend's daughter,
then it involves children, and then it becomes a little bit weird. It's like it might not be harming you, but you're just making a choice for someone who's not really of a brain that's capable of making their own decisions and fully developed at that point.
If you're not 18 or 21, and there's still studies that are saying, especially male brains aren't completely formed, or at least not set in stone, but at least completely made all the connections, gray matter, whatnot, until they're 25, 26 plus. Yeah. And so if that's true, not only for men and women, at least to some degree, whatever the science is on that means, 18 and 21 are still young to making these decisions. However, at least they're of age enough to be like, do I really want to do this genital mutilation thing, or do I really want to go in this direction? Do I want to get this tattoo? But 7 or 9
are most places till you're 25.
Right, exactly.
What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always thought it was weird that you could go off to war and die and you couldn't buy alcohol. That's kind of a weird thought. It's like you can put your life on the line to go get murdered for the country, but you aren't.
But if you have a beer with a football game, you're a sinner.
Well,
not a sinner. You are illegally doing so, and we will put you in in cuffs and take you to the court.
Exactly. They should meet those things in the middle. Like make it 19 for both or 20 for both, and then okay, you know what I mean?
No,
And then
dude,
maybe some
just do
leeway
it like
on
the
1 year
Germans.
either side.
If you
What's
can
that?
see over the bar, you can buy.
What if there's dwarf people?
Well, they got to show ID.
Well, in California, you can't even show ID without getting arrested if you go to the polls. Or you won't get
Yeah, well,
arrested.
yeah,
But
that's at the polls, though. Dwarves don't vote.
jokes, folks, just jokes, just short
It's
people.
always jokes, baby.
All right, and I have
I mean,
I have another topic up here. Good news is a good one though. There was one more good news that I wanted to do before we headed out on that subject, and that is the
good
ozone
news, good
layer
news.
appears to be recovering faster than expected, and is expected to return to normal levels between 2040 and 2066 if we don't blow
Yeah, they
ourselves up.
turned down the laser, so we're fine.
Yeah, yeah, they're like, turn
Yeah.
it down. They're freaking out again about the climate change. We better turn that. They're not having babies. Turn that down. Shit.
Who knows?
All right.
I mean, that's good news if it's true. That's good.
I mean, the internet said it. It has to be true.
Yeah, exactly. It must be. Sensational headline.
I saw a TikTok about it.
I know. Well, that's kind of what you went to Instagram. You see these big bold letters of like, "This is happening here." And you're like,
there was the one August. You said it. I think when we were just talking. I think it might have been last time, or maybe it was over the phone. The greatest regrets.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I just basically wanted to, kind of bring up like, do you have something that you can pin as like your biggest regret? I personally don't like. I
Maybe
try
not
to
biggest,
not
but I
regret
had one
anything.
I thought of immediately after you said it that I wanted to bring up because
Okay.
I find it to
Yeah.
be hilarious. Because I was young. This was in elementary school, probably like fourth grade, and I wish that my life would be more complicated.
Ooh.
Yep,
no, I don't think that's
I
a good one.
did. I fucking did.
Oh,
Because,
you when you
I'm
were
in,
in
I'm in
school. Okay.
school and I'm just, you get up, you have breakfast, you go to school, you
Yeah,
learn
and
for
you
the
made the
day, you come
actual
home.
wish to
And
be
I
more
had no
complicated.
fucking idea how complicated life could be. And so I do constantly, every now and then, look back at that and I'm like, what the fuck? Why would I do that? Because, like, the more you know, the more complicated it is. And then the more you realize that you only think you know about a lot of different things. And if you study history enough, then you know that a lot of stuff is just confusing. And then the farther back you go in history, we know nothing. Like, we have no idea what the
No,
fuck is going
nothing,
on.
because even the stuff that we have written down, we don't know how true it is. Like it's
So you have
yeah.
simulation theory, and then you have surviving here just in America, and then
Well, and then
studying the world.
you also have like the option that we're by far most likely not at all the first people to get to a massively advanced point in history.
Yeah, with
Like
the temples in India that are carved out of one solid stone, and the pyramids, and a lot of the different wonders of the world just
there's
being like.
map stones all over the world. Like
So
Yeah,
I
it's certainly
remember that.
possible, but I think it's
that's a
to
great
me
regret. You
that
should
is.
regret having wished
I,
that.
I
How
did
many?
this to myself.
There's been like 5 or 6 mass extinctions or something like that. Who knows? At any point in time, 100 million years ago, 200 million years ago, yeah, you have carbon dating and you have the dinosaur bones and you have all this, and you can look back in time. Geologists probably tear us apart. That more than welcome. But like we're carbon dating experts. But like
No,
at
I
the
mean,
same
really,
time,
really, one of the biggest dating things that we have is this one specific level of dirt, and comment if you know what that level of dirt is, that's found all over the face of the earth. That does imply a specific event that happened worldwide, that we are able to see this all happened at the same time. And a lot of us are, aside from carbon dating, using that line to determine how old things are up or down from that line.
Yeah, well, because you can also do that with like Mount St. Helens ash. It's all across the country. You can dig down
Mm.
and find Mount St. Helens ash like everywhere in the country, and actually other parts of the world as well. There is a layer of Mount St. Helens ash,
I
and it's
also think
identifiable.
I think there's a tree thing as well, where either
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
where all the trees slowed
there's like
down
rocks.
or sped
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I'm sure there's tons of different indicators from here for 100, however many miles down we can get.
Mass
But we
events.
can't even, yeah, like just because we drill that far down, like I think it's in Russia is the deepest hole. That's just abyss, right? That goes down. I don't even know how. Can somebody look that up? Actually, it is the deepest hole in the world that Russia drilled. I think it was the Soviet Union actually, or maybe
I
it was shortly
thought
after.
China got
But it is
deeper recently.
maybe, but like even that is not really getting that far down in the Earth's crust. You have the regolith, right? And then you can go down. But once you're like, I don't think we've ever gotten past even a half of the crust, even a quarter of the crust of the Earth. I'm not sure.
Super deep borehole.
Yeah, the Cola super deep.
What do we got? 100 miles, 10 miles,
12,262 meters, or
meters.
miles.
Yeah, 7.6 miles. That is not that much.
Yeah, that's as far as we've got.
Far, but it's still so deep into the crust of the Earth. Like
that is a long. That I mean, you fall, and if you do like a perfect jump, if you just did right in the middle, if you get dropped to like perfect rate, you go for so long. It's like going into one of those what are those things in Arc Raiders where you go the hole that you open up and you go bing.
A Raider hatch.
It's just like that.
It's exactly like that.
I'm sure.
Maybe a lot deeper. But what were we saying? Oh yeah, what interests me, maybe an equal amount, if not more, is that there could have been all these civilizations and like ultra advanced, maybe even more advanced than we are now. Like they say humans have been evolving, whatever, the last 100,000 years. Modern humans have been around roughly that long, 50,000,
what they say,
whatever. So they say, but like the ancestors of that, or let's see, the people that seeded I do think that there's intelligent life out there somewhere, even if it's just regular life and not intelligent life. But it really interests me. Like again, it's hard for me to not believe that out there somewhere there's like a galactic federation of. And I know that some people say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. That's not in the Bible, or there's no evidence of it in scientific research." But it's like the possibility that is out there, or let's just say intelligent life. Let's not the Galactic Federation. Let's go away from amoebas and single-celled organisms or whatever. Let's just say intelligent life, half as intelligent as we are, or twice as intelligent. Within that range, I guarantee there's at least. I'm gonna say that my opinion is that I would guarantee that they're out there somewhere. It could be 10 light years away. It could be 15 light years away. It could be 1,000 light years away. It could be in all these different galaxies. There could be one galaxy that's teeming with life, and then ours, unfortunately, doesn't have that much. We just don't know.
Or dimensional frequencies. It can be right over top of us. I mean, it can get so much more complex that even the human mind is able to fathom.
Right.
And it could be in the multiple dimensions and multiple universes, both could be implied on the same level, and we could be just having those same concepts over each other.
Yeah,
and I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that too. I think the most way people, like common layman people who think about things about aliens, are little green men or little gray men or tall gray people from Mars or whatever. It's like they're not really thinking about it in terms of light years or time or different dimensions or working on different levels of vibrations and all that. Most people I don't think about that, but I agree with that as well. But just in the form of physical, real life aliens that are tangible, that we could be able to touch or feel or communicate with in one way or another, they're out there. It's just whether they're here or not. And I do like to think that maybe if those do exist, which I do think they do, they might have played a small part, even if it's like a 3 degrees, 5 degrees of separation in the evolution of humanity in one way or another. And whether it's okay to be Christian, it's okay to be whatever denomination you want to be.
I mean, we still don't have a missing link per se. So there still is the whole seeded concept. We still have the potential.
New links that are closer.
There's all sorts of links, though. That's the thing. Is like you want to are you talking about just humanity or just evolution in general?
Just humanity.
Okay,
humans. Our version of humans. I mean, Gigantopithecus, Gigantopithecus and all of those other versions of primates are not similar enough to be able to. An evolution would be over millions of years, and it would be so subtle of changes that we would have tons of links to pull from. We do not.
I think that we do, and I think that there's a lot of, and those are just the ones that we found of all sorts. There's like the pygmy people. There's all sorts of different people and evolutionary traits. It's just that we haven't found that many, but we
Like and
found enough, in
subscribe
my
and
opinion.
comment if you have these
Even
links you want to put in there. I'd be curious to
you
see
can,
some
If
more
you
of
could
the
hook us
links.
up
right,
with Graham Hancock,
absolutely.
that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. There's
Send him a
all
message
sorts of
for
this
me.
stuff out there. But if even if you don't want to call it evolution, let's say it's adaptive change on a small scale over time leads to greater adaptive change, right?
Yeah, but
Whether it would be within one
if
species
aliens came
or
down and edited us multiple times, then you could be like
ah,
evolution, and it still would look the same way.
right. Exactly. And to my point, I think that that's what is exciting is that they any alien civilization who's not only deceiving us or trying to change us slightly, maybe they give it people would call it like kind of God resources type thing. And I'm not saying that this is aliens in the substitute of God, whatever your God may be,
No,
or the universe or whatever. I'm just
I
saying
always
it can
say this
all work
whenever
in
people
tandem.
talk about aliens is just because aliens could be proved to be real. There's nothing that doesn't say that God didn't create aliens and this is a
Right.
part of the plan. So it does
Totally.
not negate a God.
Totally.
It
Two
doesn't
thing can
rule it out.
simultaneously we can do four things can be simultaneously true at the same time,
You do
and other
8
things
things
other than those things
simultaneously.
could be not untrue and true. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
everything
It's like
everywhere
people
all at once.
always working in a polarized brain, and people don't, because they think whether you be fundamentally religious in some way, they think that science and religion are opposite, and that's just not true at all. Like
Well,
that, people have
I
come
think
out
it's
from that perspective for
extreme. I think
years.
it's extremism that makes these conversations not something that some people can play along with. It's like I'm not allowed to
Exactly.
talk about it in a playful, thinking way because that's blasphemy and I'll go to hell. In comparison to,
Exactly.
yes, we all want to be ethically good people and make the right decisions and all the good things. But you still
Yeah.
need to be able to
Yeah.
think critically and have a conversation and there's still all these things that we don't know. What's stopping us from talking about it? Just if it's just fear, then it's the same thing as like us being canceled for things on any given platform for wanting to talk about things that
Yeah.
people are uncomfortable talking about.
And I think that
Yeah,
goes for both the things, whether it be anyone in science or anybody in any religion. If they're trying to tell you, that's how you. I can't remember what the quote is, but it's been
You
out
can
there for a
tell it's
while.
a
I think
psyop if they tell you to shut up about something.
Mark Andreessen. I think that's
Yeah.
Mark Andreessen was
Yeah, I
doing the
just
same
heard that
thing, but
one
it's not. It
recently.
wasn't him. Wasn't him that said it, but he was redoing it and re-saying it, which is great. And I think he's right, and that whoever said it right is right. If you can tell who is trying to get you to not talk about it when you're silenced, and it's like, oh, if they're trying to get you or trying to distract you,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
forget who it
from
was,
getting
but
to the truth.
it was two things. It
It,
was either mass silencing or a global threat. If something is a
right.
global threat, is another way that it can just be a psyop to shut everybody up. Because if you make it that big of a deal,
Yeah.
it silences people from wanting to speak up about it.
And especially like I was saying though, in whether it be science or religion or in any other form, if you think following the science means that you have the answers, you're wrong. Because following the science or even following religion in the pursuit of truth can be kind of similar. The same is the similar is similar because you're trying to find out the truth of what medication might help this cancer. Or in philosophy, you're trying to become a better Christian or a better Muslim or a
Yeah,
better
and
Buddhist or
I
whatever.
wish I could
You're
name
just
who
trying
it
to find
was.
that.
There's the science specifically. When we talk about science, it's very unhealthy to talk about science as a static thing. It makes people think like they have all the proof that is needed because they follow the science when the science is an evolving practice. It is constantly
Exactly.
changing. It's not something that you can stand behind like that's
yeah.
it, that's all there is. It's what we're
Right.
slowly figuring out. And
And
it's if someone can't have an argument with you about science or about where you how credible the tests are you're doing, is it a double blind study? Or is it a paper that was printed by a company that's paid off by the company they're doing the science on?
Reinforced.
Yeah, it's like what
Yeah.
to
yeah.
what point is your science something that can be stood behind as a
Right.
shield in
Yeah.
comparison to it is an evolving crazy world of all sorts of shit we don't know yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
That's why
I
they would.
found the quote. It's
Oh,
to determine the true rulers of any society, you must do all you must do is ask yourself this question. Who is it that I am not permitted to criticize? Kevin
mhm.
Alfred Strom.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
Perfect.
so that's an
You know,
older
Yeah.
version. The one I was talking about was
yeah,
ex CIA agent talking about how to spot a psyop.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
know the
it's
one you're
all
talking
saying
about
the
too.
same thing.
Very, yeah, it's
Yeah,
all the
but it's
same
definitely
idea. But
it's
yes, you're
based
right.
off of
You're
that
right.
same type of thing.
Exactly. But that is true. I mean, and you should be able to not just criticize, but question, even if it's not highly critical. If it's just, hey, do you think that this was right, or do you think that what is? And if they come back defensively, even in a personal scale, me to somebody else, they're defensive about just the question, and you're genuinely curious, and your intent is curious, not in terms of trying to do set you up, gotcha kind of news network shit stuff. Like you're literally trying to ask a question, they get defensive about that. That's a huge red flag, because that's
Yeah,
they
you
think
shouldn't
that
get
you
so defensive when I call you a sociopath.
exactly. Well, I don't like it, because I feel like I'm more of an
Exactly.
empath
You
than
said
It-
not.
hey,
you said
that's okay.
exactly.
It's okay if it hurts somebody's feelings. That's different.
Is it? Is it? Because I could start hurting feelings, and then I'll just say, oh, it's just a
Trust
joke.
me,
It
you can't
isn't.
hurt my feelings.
Well, it is a lot like that. Is a lot like. Okay, I know I hate to say this, but this is not against Protestant Christians or even some Christians in general that are not
It's okay
Protestant.
if it
But if you
is, dude.
say that,
It's free
if you
speech.
say it's
It's
well,
free speech.
it's an idea that kind of goes along with certain things that they would certainly not agree with. It's the idea of, oh, if all my sins are forgiven and I can't get hurt by anything, or I can't whatever, then I'm going to sin as much as possible, or I'm going to be as mean as possible, or I'm going to say things that are ridiculous as much as possible. And sometimes it's a good thing. It's a reasonable. It's to antagonize a joke or antagonize a little bit, as you were saying. But at the same time, if whether it be in the religious way or in any other way, there are appropriate times in which to be like, hey, this is what it is, especially in front of certain audiences, or to be like, hey, this is a joke. But like certain, like if you were a stand-up comedian and you said an inappropriate joke in a certain city that like you knew it wasn't going to land and you did it anyway, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting that whole audience, because they're just like, oh, that's
Or you're
not what
just
we came here for.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole point is that they paid money to
or you,
come see you,
or
or
you
they
were
want to get good information.
rage baiting because you know any press
Right.
is good
It's a
press.
troll.
Rage
Well,
bait's
yeah,
huge right now.
I guess so.
It's
But it's
fucked up,
yes, but you
man.
know what I'm saying? It's like you shouldn't do things just because, let's say in the Christian way, your sins are forgiven, so therefore I can do these things. That's not a really good Christian thing to do, as is being even sometimes jokingly mean to people, even though it's not really meant to be mean. It's meant to be a joke anyway. That kind of stuff, especially if third parties or fourth parties or whatever are onlooking, that's different. Like, it would be different, let's say, if you said that to me in person, but Isaac's upset, blah, 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 whatever. But if there's a bunch of people who have no freaking idea, it shapes their
Like the
perception, much
entire
like how
world.
we were talking. Much like exactly, much like what we're talking about with, let's say, CNN or Fox News writes a crazy, polarizing, sensational article, but you only see the headlines, or Instagram or whatever, and you're like, this is what it is. I'm gonna go tell
Yeah.
everybody, because people are that dumb. People are that stupid, and maybe we are too. But not to say that we're not. But it is forming people's opinions, unfortunately, because they don't understand. They're not in on all this shit. So, yeah.
No, all our
But
viewers are geniuses.
I
Yes,
hope so.
definitely
that
that
is
one
true.
right
That's what we're
there.
gonna call the geniuses, instead of like whatever everybody
No,
else calls their
we don't want them to have
the
a head.
bungulators or whatever. We're the geniuses. We're the geniuses.
No, because they did that with
But
Apple with the Genius Bar, and I always thought that was the
oh,
dumbest,
damn it,
cockiest thing. Like, such a
damn
bad
it.
idea. Because then one person who works there fucks up, and forever you're left with that bad taste in your mouth of, oh, so that's a genius. All right, okay.
I forgot about that
All it
completely. I
takes is
forgot about
one.
that.
We could be the Friendly Americans group.
There we go.
Friendly Americans.
Are you friendly? Friendly.
Hey,
Are
that's good.
you a fan?
Oh my goodness, we could be really friendly.
That's pretty good. Friendly.
But
I
oh
wear
my
my
gosh,
"Don't Shoot"
how did we get there
shirt for the
aside from
next
the?
podcast.
And we have our FAG shirts and everything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it
FAG?
was
What is
FA.
that?
I thought it was FAP.
Friendly Americans group.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
FAG FAP or FAP FAG, or
Yeah,
FAG first and then FAP.
And our fans are FAGs.
Oh, okay, yeah. The big periods, squares. Wild.
nobody likes that. All right, nobody likes that. It's hilarious.
I think it'd be
Everybody
hilarious.
likes it. I think pretty much everybody likes
Like and subscribe, comment if you like that.
it.
Otherwise,
Heart, put the bell on, do all the things.
Or if you have any other suggestions, we'll certainly take them into account.
yeah, we're
and
gonna
then
need
if
some
you have the-
suggestions.
We'll read them, but we won't.
Yeah.
We won't listen.
But if you have the winning suggestion for a name or for whatever, I think that person should either get a spot on the podcast.
Yeah,
or
I mean we're not
do
too
something nice for them.
yeah, we're not too serious. We'll take on names if you guys just want to throw some names out there. We'll be happy to entertain the concept. Otherwise, the
Or we
No,
talk
hit the
about
nail on the head, guys.
what's that? I
it's,
think it was okay. That was a lot right there.
no,
But yeah, I think
we
we were talking about
literally
aliens
we
and
tangented
science or
just off of
religion.
my regret of saying I wish my
Oh
life was
yeah,
more complicated.
and that was you as a kid wishing things were more
But wait,
complicated. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
gonna
Yeah,
pause it so I can use the restroom real quick. Why don't you
yeah,
guys think on that note? Not the most and biggest regret, but
yeah.
a regret.
I mean, just great
Another
news, actually.
good
Oh,
news.
Well, yeah, no, it's great news. Cheese may be good for your brain.
oh, I just had a little like a quarter of a brick of extra sharp cheddar. I think it was
Yeah,
a Kellogg or was it Kerrygold? Kerrygold, so good. Extra sharp white cheddar. Thank you so much. It was.
no,
I
there's a
actually.
new study
Oh,
links certain cheeses with a lower likelihood of developing dementia.
let's go.
Research
Wait,
published in the Journal of Neurology
certain
found that
cheeses. What are the brain
people
cheeses?
consumed high-fat cheese had a 13% lower risk of dementia.
High fat cheese.
Eat more cheese. Eat
High
more
Listen,
fat.
cheese.
I'm
No
here
low
for it.
fat. No low fat cheese. All right.
No, get the low
Yeah, yeah,
fat
yeah.
out of this business.
Get the good stuff.
You know that brings
Get
me to a
the
point
good
that
stuff.
this
Ethically sourced.
like really grinds my gears. And what really pisses me off is that I can't find any extra fat yogurt. It's like everybody just gets yogurt to lose weight.
Yeah, they don't
There
want
is
that fat
no normal fat yogurt. I've
there.
looked.
Yeah,
I mean,
There's
it's like
just
low fat
there's
only.
low
Yeah,
fat or
uh,
no fat. There is no extra fat yogurt. If you're making yogurt out there, make an extra fat yogurt. Not everybody's trying to lose weight.
just make your own. It's not that
isn't that
terrible.
yeah? Isn't that just plain yogurt though? You could get plain yogurt, and it is already low fat, but I
Even the
mean, it's
plain
not
yogurt,
like
yeah, it's all low fat.
well, that's. I
They
mean,
just
Sorry.
couldn't
market it
you
that
make?
way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh.
No, you could
I don't
get
know.
fat and add it to your yogurt, like whey powder, but fat
Or
powder.
just, dude, just take your
All
yogurt,
right.
blend it with, or
Cheddar, it
emulsify it
looks
with
like
heavy cream.
cheddar and Parmesan are the higher
It's pronounced
fat
Parmesan.
options.
Oh yeah.
Parmesio?
All right, no, type in Kerrygold extra sharp white, reserve sharp white cheddar. That's the one that I had last night. I had like a
No.
quarter of that, and I just
Any
ate.
dairy from Kerrygold is mwah, delicious.
Yeah, yeah, it's so good, so good. I think it wasn't it. It's across the pond, isn't it? I can't
Or the
remember.
Baby
Yeah,
Bells.
yeah.
I've been digging the Baby Bells for a while now.
Baby Bells
Baby
are rocking.
bells.
Those are
Baby
my
bells are
Like
nice.
snacks.
making little mini baked bries with Baby Bells.
Mm.
Ooh, that sounds so good. Maybe a little olive oil and just a little bit of like another different sauce. Maybe a little bit of fresh red onion. Maybe a little bit of herb, whatever your choice is. And
Now I just make I make a really good focaccia bread, and I haven't done it in so long.
Mm,
I just want to do that.
mm. That's
It's
so good
time.
with like pesto and like maybe a little bit of homemade mayo and just
So
maybe
I do
thick
literally
turkey.
just like thyme, rosemary, maybe some basil. No parsley
Mm,
and sage though.
mm.
Uh, and sorry, it's always the reference. But
Brown butter sage is great.
well, and then I literally just like olive oil on it is plenty. Like
Yeah.
it's so good, dude.
Oh my god.
And I mean, I also use too much butter and
Yeah, but that's what makes it good. That's why I love reduced heavy cream or full butter or even yeah, it's so good.
But yeah, as far as the
So good.
regrets go, my only
Oh yeah.
like again, I try to avoid regrets because I don't think regretting things, even if they are regrettable, I don't think regretting things is healthy. I think holding on to that negativity is just kind of bad for
It's
you.
toxic, yeah.
It doesn't get you into a positive place.
And
But
that being said, everything that I have done throughout my entire life has led me up to the person that I am today. So you
absolutely,
have
and that's why
all of
you
those
shouldn't regret
decisions.
the things
Right.
you've done. Yeah, like, and that's why I'm saying like I don't really regret this. But if I had to pick like the biggest regret of my entire life, it was not buying Bitcoin when I heard about it. Because I heard about Bitcoin so early on
Yeah,
and
me
could have
too.
bought
Me too.
Bitcoin
That one's
for
on my list.
like nothing. I would have paid if I put in $100, I would be a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, it was less than a penny
Yeah.
when I heard about it.
Yes, it was nothing when I'm like, why did I not? I could have just thrown $10 at it and forgot about it and been great. But
Mm.
no. Even like literally when it came back around, I could have bought it at $200 of Bitcoin. And I had some money at that point and could have totally made a decent play. But just like, oh no, it's not going to do anything. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. But that also kind of brings me back to it. You would have been investing into a shady, like unethical thing.
It's still
Yeah.
shady enough that you still don't
For
know
sure.
where all this money
For sure.
is
Oh,
and what it's
Bitcoin
going
is
to.
like the ultimate black market currency. It's
I think it's
Yeah.
a different reality. If you could have gone back and you did buy that $100 of the Bitcoin or whatever, that would have turned into millions or billions or whatever. It was a different stream of reality. Therefore, if you had done that, it would have been a different reality. In which case, Bitcoin might not have been the top dog. It might have just been worthless, and he would just wasted 100, as opposed to you never know what could have happened, right?
Yeah, what
And
universe
then,
are we in?
and for my regrets, or for my regret, like
3060.
the main thing, honestly, that first came to mind, even though I'm sure there's other ones or whatever, is for me at least personally, and this is a general theme, and instead of like a one personal thing, not being motivated enough to go after, some people would say, a 4-year degree in school or certain studious projects, or investing, again, maybe not in Bitcoin, but in the right things, the right time, or going and getting a job that, I could have been hired at this certain company that I worked for 5 or 10 years earlier. There's a lot of little things like that, but being more motivated in the moment to do the thing rather than playing video games or doing this or doing that and having entertaining. And you can make an argument for that as well, and just for laying back and relaxing, because you need that time as well.
Doing
But the
the
biggest one
day-to-day.
for me is being more studious, being more into that moment of, okay, I need to get this done. And if I had had a little bit more of that each day in my past, I would be not like 100%. I'm I'm happy for who I am, or happy with who I am, but at the same time, I would have been in a better, not only financial, maybe a better place in terms of financially for sure, but maybe even education or even a different job or whatever. And
Yeah.
again, I don't hate the job and hate my life or anything that I have right now, but there would be a different, possibly more productive and educated version of me that I could have done. And so that is my overarching regret. Some people could say, oh, there's,
Yeah,
you could have fixed
you could always look
emotional
back
things,
and
or
have worked harder. You could always look back and be
yeah,
like, ah, you could have done more.
exactly. Exactly. And I'm happy with one of my things nowadays. It's maybe that I needed to go through certain things, through certain emotional pains, and even whether it be incidentally or on purpose causing other people emotional harm, especially 10, 20 years ago. But going through those things, it's made me to who I am today. And one of my biggest things is the alleviation of unnecessary suffering. So instead of getting revenge or causing somebody emotional harm or whatever that is, instead of doing those things, it's led me to the place of being, hey, I don't want to get revenge on people. I don't want to hurt people in any way. Not only that, but I want to alleviate their own suffering that they have in their daily lives. And I think going through some of the things I've been through has led me to this place, as opposed to if I hadn't have gone through them, maybe that wouldn't have been the
Yeah,
idea that I have in my
and
brain. So,
a lot of people lash out in suffering too. Like
right,
they're not
right.
coming from a sound mind of wanting, to cause harm. They just like are in
Misery
so
loves
much
company.
pain.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when they're younger. I mean, it takes a while, I think, for not only, as we were talking about earlier, for human brains to mature, women and especially men, but also by the time you're 30 or 35 or 40, you've had these opportunities not only to have had revenge get upon you, even if it's not something that you did wrong, or to do something to somebody that, even though maybe they weren't at fault, or that, you've been through all these scenarios and run them over in your mind, hopefully enough, that you've learned more and become more mature in that way, not just emotionally, but physically, and all those thing. So it's instead of, yeah, I think as people get older, they get better about that, hopefully, on average, let's say on average. But that's one of, I guess that's a two-parter. Is one, I would have wished that I would have worked harder, and two, maybe less emotional stuff. But again, I think that one's to a lesser degree, because it's like everybody needs to feel the world to the most degree that they can handle without breaking their minds.
Yeah, well,
And so I
obviously,
think that's a
without
deeply personal
without
thing.
not being able to function or like
Right.
try to make anything better.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's my main one, though, is aside from the suffering and emotional turmoil, whatever stuff. I think it's more important that you focus on, let's say, for the younger audience that we have, it's more in focus that you go to whatever, even if it's not school, like in the traditional sense, like a 4-year college or whatever. Go to a technical school, get a skill, get a trade, even if you think that your job might be gone. It's something that you can focus
Experience.
on. Right. And you're getting you're working your critical thinking abilities. You're getting out into the world and you're talking to people, especially experts that are older than we are, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, that have these really unique skills that they probably want to pass down, whether you be a blacksmith or a professor of something. and there's not that as many people nowadays that might want to learn those skills. So
Yeah.
if I was talking to my younger self, as I might be talking to the 18-year-old in the audience or whatever, 21-year-old, go to a technical school or go to somebody, even just an older person who knows a craft really well. Be curious about that. Dedicate yourself to the things that you're really interested in, not just video games, not just things that will take your time.
Yeah, not to say that
But
there isn't people making shit tons of money off of video games, but
oh yeah,
just
absolutely.
also saying that the more hats that you can wear, the more versatile you'll be in the end overall. And all these experiences lead you to other parts of your life you may not know exist without going out there and doing something a little bit abnormal from what you used to be doing.
Right. Put on different
and
sets
don't make going and getting a marketing degree your first priority. Like maybe do that third.
Right.
You know, there survival skills are dying right now.
Right.
And
totally.
It's while yes, okay, cool, AI is going to do all these things for us and solve all these problems.
Maybe
that only takes one decent solar flare and we're back to the Stone Age.
Like, yep. To build on the past is really important. I think we're losing that in the last 10, 20 years, especially with the younger generations, because they're so, I mean, I love to play video games. We're on technology right now, but it's not like we still got to play outside. And we talked about this on previous podcasts before as well, is the ability to be in reality, be in the present moment, not just at one, like with your surroundings, but with, exactly, not always in that fantasy land of podcasting, of video games, of the Kardashians or whatever Netflix show that you like go out, get outside, go on a hike, go talk to people outside of your own sphere of existence. I mean, these things are real, that you can take those, even if there was a solar flare, or if technology was down, let's say the power's out for a while, then you're in a place that you're more comfortable with. You know what I mean? You've done it before.
And I've taken some vows of silence back in the day. My longest one was a month, and in that solitude, I think that there's a lot of benefit that I got from just reflecting. That was all I was doing. When I would go to work, I would have my shift. I'd be able to talk about work-related stuff with customers, so I wasn't like completely cut off from being verbal. But all of my private life outside of work was complete silence, writing hand notes and stuff like that. And I remember that I went through a shift in my mind of just all that reflective time of living in that silence really allowed me to deal with myself better in all walks of life. Like in every decision that I've made from that point, I do have a little bit more solace. If there was no connection to the outside world, I can handle myself in the silence, which is difficult.
In general,
it's difficult for me even still at times to just be silent and just not do anything for a second.
The silence is a really good one, that vow of silence. But in general, I think the overarching thing we've talked about in the last few minutes is challenging yourself, right? Like whether it be a vow of silence, whether it be going to get the marketing degree or whatever, you're learning a new language or an instrument. Challenging yourself.
Don't do that. Don't get a useless degree.
Oh yeah. But like challenging yourself to do something that is maybe either out of your comfort zone or maybe is a harder thing to do, but something that at least you're a little bit interested in, is something that is really important. Instead of getting swept up in this delusion, this unchaining, or what is it called, like this just random rapid of apathy, and you'll get caught up in the propaganda if you just go along with what everybody else is doing, or playing the games and watching the shows that everybody else is doing. You're going to get caught up in that world most likely, more often than not. So it's like challenging not only the thought process that go behind these things, and we've talking about this whole episode, but also challenging yourself to do something different than the status quo, not only of society, but even sometimes of your friends or whatnot. Getting outside of the box.
And I think most people can agree, who have been around before social media and the Internet of Things, is that there is a fakeness to the mass ingesting of all of this information. Like there is a lot of it that just feels generated for the views, like the clickbait, the rage bait, and the just trying to get you to pay attention. There is a lot of this short form content that's just brain numbing and not actually going to get you anywhere. In fact, it's going to get you to an anxiety filled, not able to make a decision type of thing.
Totally. Yeah, it's good.
And my regret thing was, it's a little bit of a joke, because honestly, it's like I wish my life was more complicated. And yes, as adults, we all know how fucked up that, of a thought that is. Like, why would you
Yeah,
wish that on yourself? You don't even know.
right,
That's what's coming, whether you like it or not. You're going to grow
right.
up, and
Yeah.
things are going to get more complicated, whether you like it or not.
Oh yeah.
So I only say I regret it because I remember reflecting on that moment as a kid, and thinking that that was, I hope that there's something exciting and complicated in my future in comparison to just the normal day in, day out, go to school and that sort of thing. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't lose too much of your childhood too quickly. Enjoy what time you
Yeah.
got.
Each
And
day has enough troubles of its own. You don't need to add a bunch of stuff or wishing more complications than and usually you will get. They will come.
I
They
also thought
will
I was
come.
going to be a superhero, so I thought some of those complications were going to be pretty sweet, fighting villains, those sort of things.
I
I want
mean,
to
you
go to
kind of
space.
were for a few years there.
Superman.
I was
Oh,
I'm
Superman.
still
Yeah.
learning, still learning. I didn't
Yeah.
fly yet, but I still got time.
I want to go to space. I still might go to space, but probably when I'm like 60, if I'm lucky, and I have to buy the ticket
I
not
don't want to
to.
go to space.
Yeah,
Anyway, do we
I'll
have any
jump out of a
closing?
plane, but I don't want to go to space.
yeah,
I,
I want to
I think
watch
that's
the
common.
world.
That's
I
common.
want to watch the world become a better place. I want to help the world
Agreed.
become a better place.
The
And
two
I
things
don't
can
think
simultaneously be true.
I don't think I don't have the feeling of saving the world, and I don't have the idea of fixing the world. I just have
Mm.
the idea that we're all a part of this, and I'm going to
Oh,
do my
totally.
best to bring the best forward.
Which is a great, that's a great way. Do we have any other closing statements? We could do the
Closing.
outro here or whatever. We could do the intro at the beginning, obviously. Do a little intermission break, or
But
maybe any other.
some of the other thoughts is I do have an outro. We have to come up with some sort of I also wanted to go over things you might want to say to the world. So if you come up with an idea of something you want to say to the world and you just talk directly into the camera and say it as if you're saying it to the entire world, I thought that would be a funny one.
I mean, that is
Um,
the whole
Get
thing of
off
what we're
my
doing.
back.
We're doing the whole thing constantly. That's exactly
Lower
what we're
the
doing all the
taxes.
time. That's literally what we're doing right
That's
Show
it.
me the files.
Show me the
now. Yeah.
that's another one. So
I'll come
we
up
could
with some
do,
more specific
but it
questions.
could be
Yeah.
a small one that is speaking to the world, and that could be a segment
Right.
out of every episode. Is we
Yeah.
could all just have
Totally.
one face to face with the camera and give our two
The
cents
world.
to the world.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had good news, and then accomplishments last week. So if we are trying to do something for the week, or we wanted to do something, set out to do it, and we did it,
Yeah.
just an accomplishment for yourself for the last week.
Totally. I think
Uh,
that's a really good one. I agree with that
just
one.
because it's a part of showing up for yourself in the podcast.
Totally.
As I'm trying to
Totally.
evolve as I go through this.
Yeah, no, and
Totally.
I think what we should do with this is we should name all of our segments after other successful podcasts. So like this past weekend, and then we could have About Last Night, and then we could do a segment called Call Her Daddy.
Right. That would be hilarious. So we'll just break.
Bill Burr
I
did
think that
one
might.
called
Yeah.
Thursday Nights, and it comes out on Monday afternoon or Thursday morning, and it comes out on Monday at the end of the day.
How does the other way around? Monday morning podcast, and it comes out
Monday.
Thursday.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
I
yeah.
think what it is. And
Oh,
then
you got it.
Thursday afternoon, Monday morning podcast.
and
Yeah,
then
that's it. Because then, yeah, exactly.
and I didn't have a timeline on it, but is some sort of looking forward. Look stuff that we're looking forward to in the year for ourselves
Right.
personally, or for
Just
any
put these
events or
ones.
anything like that.
Right. Yeah, put these ones over text and then send them to us, and then we can think about it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just text into the text
I got
group. And
these
because I
ones
gotta
written
go,
up.
I gotta go to the thing. Do you have any other closing statements? I think this last little bit is just whatever it is.
No,
But I gotta go. I have a dinner reservation.
Oh,
So
this will definitely be in the podcast. If it isn't, I'm gonna
finger
cause problems.
guns. Don't do that. That's gang signs, man.
Yeah, what's the BLOOD?
Thanks
Please
for
roll the
watching. Another friendly American podcast.
Friendly American outro. All
All
right, I'm going to dinner.
All right, have a good one.
Send those prompts.
Yeah, I
to the
got a
text
couple
group.
prompts. I'll just take a picture of my notepad and send it over. And then we'll see you later.